What's up, y'all? I want to give you an update on my EG4 inverters. These are the 6000 EX 48 volt options, or really the 6000 EX only has 48 volt. But anyway, and then the 48 volt batteries here, the Life Power 4. These are the budget batteries that Signature Solar sells. These things are awesome. These things are awesome as well. So I wanted to show you what I've got going on and just give you a really quick update. I know some of y'all have been asking, like, where's the next video? What are we going to do? So to give you a quick, like the 15-second version of what's been going on, basically we had a crazy huge storm came through Texas. In the process, it forced me to unbox some of my stuff and put up like an emergency setup so that we could get our water and our lights back on. We were without power for over 5 days, and that sucked. So, but it was cool about it is it got me to unbox things and get moving, because I've been waiting on clearing my property, waiting for better weather, and it's just been one thing after another. So I don't really have my solar going, although I do have a little bit of that I'll talk about in a minute. But I've been using the batteries a lot. All right. For those of y'all who are new to this channel, my name's Eric, and live here on 10 Acre Homestead. We are in the process of going solar or going off-grid, sort of. We've got an entire off-grid setup, and we're going to be doing some timber-framed ground mounts. We've got 3 of these EG4 240-volt inverters. Each one of the inverters, let me flip this around. So each of these inverters can put out 120 or 240. And they're pretty amazing. 6,000 watts. I think you can do like maybe is 150% of that for 10 seconds or something like that. Anyway, they're awesome. They're crazy heavy because right up here, although it's not in any of the literature, it appears to be a low frequency inverter that allows you to start up things that have high voltage startup loads or high amperage loads, like a well pump or a air compressor, something like that. So they show a 5-horse air compressor being run on one of these units. I have a 5-horse well pump, and one of these will not run it. So just keep that in mind. However, 2 of them absolutely will run it, and that's amazing. And I've got a 3rd one in the event that doesn't work. 2 is 1, 1 is none, 3 is for me. So you see this one right here is actually, I've done a demonstration, and I should have done a video on it before I tore it down, but then I kind of got to a point where I really needed to use it. I've got a furniture dolly here, got just a piece of wood. This really should be like some hardy backer or something, which you will notice. I do have it sitting on hardy board here. It is also recommended to have this in a vertical orientation, although it's not necessary, but it's recommended. So it probably should be necessary. What I've got going on here, I did have, instead of these old deep cycle batteries, which were great until new tech came in, where those are sitting, they're just basically there as kind of ballasts for this unit because it's incredibly top heavy. I had one of these sitting over here on it, and it was basically this portable unit, which is cool. You've probably seen a lot of people build those. A little bit different though, I had an actual breaker box right here, and you'll see this is not what this video is about. I had my my wire going up here into the panel, and then this was not here. Actually, anyway, I don't remember what I had here. I think I had a 40 or 30 right here, 2-pole, and it was going over to here. And then I had a 240 volt plug right there, which I was using for AC. And then I had these guys here running off this 20. So that was really cool, and it worked great. Now I will say, on a 240 volt AC unit, you cannot do it with one battery. because it pulls too much amperage, and the battery itself shuts down and goes into alarm. But so it didn't really even work the way I had it set up. It was great. It worked for the single 110 plugs, but other than that, it wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be. Okay, but that's not what this video. Well, that's kind of what this video is about. This is just kind of an overall update. All right, I got a lot of mess going on here, so I apologize. Here's just try to help make sense of it. I've got the batteries. The batteries are connected to the bus bar. All right, so in case any of y'all haven't seen these before, get over here, sorry. Each of the batteries connects positive to the positive bus bar. The bus bar has nice heat shrink around it. There actually are these covers that'll go over this whole thing to keep you from killing yourself, so that's pretty cool. And then the negative connects the same way. All right, so we've got that, and then I've got up here, I've got a cable right here, this big thick cable, and then another one which I did not run out the top because I was setting it up in an emergency. We've got those. One goes to this inverter and the other goes to that inverter. They are both exactly the same length. That's important. And then I've got the negatives that do the same thing. Then here we've got a really tiny cable for this setup, and this comes to the high frequency inverter, or not inverter, well, it isn't inverter, but charger, and it plugs in right here. All right, and you can see this is turned off, and I've got one of these Eve, I guess, thread-enabled devices. All right, we can talk about smart homes on another day, but the Eve one is awesome. So that actually, I can turn this on and off from my smartphone or from a Siri-enabled device or from anywhere in my house or whatever it is. But the main reason is to have it on a timer, because if you don't know what I'm doing here, I'm charging these at night and then using them during the day. Obviously, I haven't told anybody that yet, but that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm charging them at night and using them during the day. And you say, why are you doing that? Well, it's because I have a power plan that gives me free energy from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m., which is kind of nice. So the only problem with this setup right now is that this only charges, you see these tiny little wires, this only charges at 1,000 watts at a time. And so I can get basically 1 kilowatt hour in every hour. I can basically get 10 kilowatt hours of charging every night. And these are 30 kilowatt hour. This is a 30 kilowatt hour setup. So just to run down real quick for those who might be new to this electric talk, probably sounds stupid saying that. If we're charging 1,000 watts, which is a kilowatt, charging 1,000 watts, also instead of kilowatt, charging a kilowatt for 1 full hour, that is 1 kilowatt hour. If we have 5 kilowatts, or 5 watt hours, or 5.1 kilowatt hours, it takes 5 hours to charge 1 battery, right? That makes sense. If we've got 30 kilowatt hours worth of storage, and those are down at 0 state of discharge, you can see these give a state of charge, which no screen doesn't tell you exactly, but that's good enough. Anyway, it'd take 30 hours to charge all of these if they were completely depleted. All right. So what I'm doing is probably not legal. I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm not saying it's not legal. This is not me recommending that any of you do this part. This was for emergencies, and As such, I'm not recommending that anybody else does it. But I should probably take this off and show you what's going on behind the scenes. But basically, I've got these wires coming out of here. This is my AC output. And then I've got my AC output here. So this one we've already seen travels up and into the box. And it goes into the main lugs that are right here. Then we've got this one that travels around and it comes up into the top and goes in right here. So when this is in the off position, these two units are not sharing this breaker box. All right. So as soon as this is flipped on, then if these two are not synced up in phase, they're going to destroy each other. At least that's the way I understand it. So before you do that, it's important to have them communicating properly with the communication cables, and then also use a multimeter to check and make sure that everything is working all right. Okay, so those are both going into that same box right there. You'll notice this one does have an AC input, and that goes down to this right here. All right. I was using that in the emergency situation we just found ourselves in to plug this into my generator and then charge this. If you've seen one of my last videos, you'll know that I've got this 6500, 65? I think it's 6500 watt generator. I definitely don't want to have 6,500 watts being put in here, so I used the screens here, or used the controls to monitor or to bring it down. I think I was charging at 20 amps because there was no 15, and I really needed to charge a little bit faster. 10 amps, it probably would have been better. If you start going over that, you start getting dirty power in here. You start getting EG4 failures or failures on any other inverter. Going on 12 minutes. All right, so then we've got this breaker. You probably noticed, like, what does that one go to? 50 amps. These 50 amps go out here, and then they travel up along here and then go out the door. Yes, not up to code. This is, like I said, for emergency purposes only. And I may or may not, cannot confirm or deny whether or not I am using this system on a daily basis. But if I was, what I would be doing was walking way up there and flipping off the power to my house from the meter pole. All right, go up there, and before any of this is, absolutely before this is turned on, the power to the meter is completely shut off, making our home completely isolated from the grid. Once the home is isolated from the grid, I'm going to do this. This makes a little, instead of feeling like I'm trying to monitor both of them. As soon as the house is isolated from the grid, then I come in here and I turn, hypothetically, would turn this or flip this breaker and then feed into my main panel. So that my main panel, I have another breaker that this wire goes into, and that back feeds the entire house. So at that point, I would have the units, these two units feeding the house, which from there would also feed my well pump and everything else, because my well actually has a 100 amp breaker inside the house. So that has theoretically, hypothetically, I should say, hypothetically, I can charge my battery at night for free, and then go up to the power pole, flip it off at 7 a.m., come back over here, flip this on, Or to make it quicker without less downtime, already have this on, the breaker in the house flipped off. And then when the power is cut up there, communicating with someone in the house, it can flip off and on fast enough that the coffee pot does not lose its memory. Hypothetically. So I have no idea if this is something that is illegal. I'm sure it would be in California. Thus making hypothetically one's electric bill, say 50 cents a day instead of whatever it would be. So that's kind of what I've been doing recently. What I'm going to do right now is rework this entire system because I guess I can flip this around, because I want this. I'm going to take both of these units. I'm going to mount them on the wall right here. And I'm going to put the breaker box on the wall somewhere too. I don't know where it's going to go. It might go above it. I don't know if that's going to work. I can't do it above it. It might need to go where that shelf is or something. I don't really know how I'm going to fit it all in here just yet. Or I might stick it. No, I don't want to stick it down low. Still trying to rework all of this. So I want these guys to be functional while I am in this phase of trying to get the solar array set up. Ultimately, all of this is not going to be in this barn at all. It's going to be up in a solar shed way up at the top of the hill by the power pole, because the power pole, I'm going to come out of the meter straight into the bottom of these units, and that's going to be the AC input. And then from there, they will do the isolation, right? They're going to stop pulling from the grid instead of me having to go turn off the grid. All right, 17 minutes. Hopefully that gave you a good understanding of what I'm doing here. Oh, one last thing. I do have a little bit of solar going in here. You can see, if you can see over there on the trailer, I've got six panels just sitting there. And yes, the goats do walk on them. And no, they actually don't damage them, that I've been able to tell. So those come in here. And also you'll notice the batteries are on, the inverters are not. If I flip the AC on, or if I flip the DC on for the solar, it will wake up this inverter here. So that gives me, I'll go through here, see, oh man, there we go. Well, I don't know if this is going to work at all. There we go. Gonna see if we can, now it's like super cloudy outside. PV, 31 watts coming in. All right, so I got 31 watts, but you can see I've, and for the day, half a kilowatt, so, or half a kilowatt hour. But since I've been having those 6 panels up, it's given me 25 kilowatt hours worth of power just for having those 6 sitting there. So, sorry, that should be in frame. That's not bad. It's kind of cool. So on a good day, like when the sun's shining, I'm getting about 1,000 watts, about 1,300 coming through those panels, and it just helps supplement. So one other thing, I'll make a video about it when I get it. I'm replacing this. I've got the charge verter coming, the 5,000 watt charge verter. So it'll charge up all of these in 6 hours, although I will throttle it back so that it will take less time. One thing to note is that, or I'm going to have to rework this setup here when I put this on the wall, I'm going to end up having my power coming in and out of this. And then I'm going to have these guys controlled by breakers. And then I'll put this plug back over here, and I'll plug my charge inverter into it. And at that point, I'll be able to charge these at night, because the power that I'm charging this off of, I'm not charging it off of this. Like, I'm not plugging it in over here. I'm actually running an extension cord from the house. So anyway, 20 minutes. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them. If you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear those too. I'd like to hear about your setup. A lot of you guys are following along and you've already got your equipment and you're farther ahead than I am. So tell me what pitfalls you've run into. Let's do this together. I did see I saw probably two batteries. It was about that much come through on my affiliate link. So that was really cool to actually see some affiliate commission come through. I've had two affiliate purchases. So if you're going to buy more equipment, it would be really cool. I'd love it if you'd use my affiliate link for the EG4 stuff if you're buying that. But for Signature Solar, and yeah, it helps out. Definitely makes it. I mean, I'd make these videos anyway, but it definitely makes it worth it. It's fun. So every bit helps. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. And like the video, share it with somebody you know who's interested in doing their own solar stuff. Subscribe and be sure to yeah, let's keep in touch. So comment. That'd be cool. All right. Talk to you soon.